How's it going, everyone? It's Caleb Limited here, and today I'm going to be showing you some footage of a recent game hunt I did in Tennessee. I went to Tennessee on vacation, and I found a lot of video games. I was looking for some specific stuff. I found some of it, didn't find all of it, and I mean, that's not surprising. I have a lot of things on my list to find, but I did find quite a bit of games, and I'm excited to show you guys what I picked up. But we are going to show you this game store that I went to. This game store was called Control Freak Video Games, and this was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. They had tons and tons of video games here. Lots of cool stuff, too, that I hadn't seen before, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So, as you can see here, I went to the PS1 games immediately. I was looking for PS1 games. There's still things I'm looking for, still things I need. I was looking at this SpongeBob game that they had here, SpongeBob Super Sponge, I believe it was. Saw there was no manual, put it back. I saw Spice Girls, I think it's called Spice World, their video game. I just think it's funny that the Spice Girls had a video game, honestly. I was kind of tempted to pick it up, just because I thought it would be kind of funny for a review, but I decided to not do that, because, I mean, I don't think that's probably going to be a very good game. I could be wrong, maybe it's a fantastic game, but I just didn't think it probably would be. So I went and looked at the Wii games, and I was looking for specific things on the Wii again. I was hoping to find some Disney games for the Wii. That's actually what I've been looking for recently. And they just really didn't have any of the ones I was looking for. I was looking for Disney Planes and some of the Disney car games, but they didn't have those. They did have Disney Princess and the Frog. I don't know what that game is like. I don't know how it plays. I was tempted by it because, like I said, I'm trying to get all the Disney games on the Wii, but I decided not to get it because I found a lot of other stuff that I just would rather have at the time. So, some interesting stuff, though. I saw Turbo. I didn't even realize Turbo had a video game either. And then I went to the Sega Genesis games, hoping to find something, but lots of sports games. I did see the NES games, and there were a lot of those. But they were kind of price high. Went to the Game Boy games, and I did see one game that I needed there for $20, that Castlevania. So I knew that was coming home with me. And I went ahead and looked at some of the more modern stuff as well. I always try to look for Xbox 360, PS3 games every now and then. You know, I like to try to find some games I haven't heard of or I haven't played. I still haven't played like one of the Ridge Racer games that came out on the PS3. I don't know if it came on the Xbox 360 or not, but I haven't played those. I'd like to pick them up. I'd like to find some of the... I don't think I have Fable 2. I need Fable 2, so that's another one I'd like to pick up. When it comes to the PS3, there's plenty of things I don't have there. I saw a Digimon game on the PS3 that I hadn't seen before, and it actually looked pretty decent. Looks like a kind of a Smash Brothers clone, which there was one on the PS1 also that's a Smash Brothers clone, and that one's actually pretty good. And I went back to the PS1 games trying to find something, and I did see a racing game. I saw quite a few racing games, but I think I have the majority of racing games I want for the PlayStation 1. I did see Demolition Racer also when I was looking through the PS1 games, and if you guys haven't played that one, you really should try that one out. That one's really good. I did go back, I went back and checked out Spice Girls. I really thought about picking that one up. There's some of the footage on the back of it. I was just like, maybe I should get this. I really thought about it. I really did. But, yeah, alas, I did not. I did see Nuclear Strike there. I believe that's what... Oh, Thunder Strike. Is there another one called Nuclear Strike? How many Strike games are there? There's a lot of those. Because there's Desert Strike, there's Jungle Strike, there's Nuclear Strike, and I guess there's Thunder Strike. I don't know if there's any more than that, but there's quite a few of those, apparently. I looked over here in the B's because there is one Barbie game I need on the PS1, and that is Barbie Safari something? Safari Adventure or something? Or, I don't know what it's called. All I know is that it's a Crash Bandicoot clone that's Barbie, and that's why I want it. I want another... I like getting those Crash Bandicoot clones, and that's one that I need for my collection, so I need to find that one eventually. I wish I could remember the name off the top of my head, but I just don't. I did see this here. This is Might and Magic. I've never played a Might and Magic game, but there's a ton of them, and it actually looks pretty decent. Saw Croc there. I know a lot of people like Croc, and I believe it's getting a new release soon. The Cool Border games, I did think about getting those because I played those growing up, and I actually don't have them currently, and I need to get them eventually, but the problem is that I see them everywhere, so I'm just kind of not in a hurry, and it's probably not a good thing to wait on those games, though, but still. I took a look at some of the Nintendo Switch stuff, but nothing was really calling my name. Some of the Xbox stuff, Again, I wasn't really looking for anything particular on there. I went back to the Genesis games to see if there's anything I missed. There's another Desert Strike game. But there's just a lot of sports games in the case. And this is where I kind of decided, you know what? I think I'm going to stop getting games in the case for the Genesis. I think I'm going to start collecting them loose, because all I keep seeing for is sports games everywhere I go. Went to the imports, saw some Famicom games. Nothing crazy that I could find here, unfortunately. But you always got to check. I was looking for a sumo wrestling game. There's a particular sumo wrestling game I'm looking for on the Famicom, but I did not see it there. One thing that I thought was cool in that case, and I took a picture of it so I could show you guys a better picture of it, was this Beyblade Collector's Edition, because it actually came with an actual Beyblade with it, and I thought that was actually really cool. I would have picked this up if I had some sort of way to play the game, but I don't have a Japanese Wii, so there was no way I could really play the game. Checked out the NES games some more. They have some interesting stuff here. A lot of the NES games were just priced a lot higher than I was willing to pay for them, like Super Mario 2 and Super Mario 3. I thought personally were kind of expensive. I usually see them for cheaper than what I saw them for here, so I decided not to pick them up in that case. I saw a lot of copies of Super Mario 3 too, so but yeah, $24.99. I usually see it for around $20, so I thought that was a little bit pricey for that game personally. Some Super Nintendo stuff, some of the more expensive games right there. That one, Goof Troop, I believe is what that one was just now. Goof Troop is one that I'd like to pick up eventually, but I've seen it for a lot cheaper than that. They were kind of hit or miss with some of the prices, but I will say they were fair when it came to the condition. If a game had like labelware or something, they took off a decent amount off of the price of the game, so that was pretty good to see. I wanted to get this on camera too, because this was sick. This was Bubble Bobble Part 2 and Mega Man 5. Bubble Bobble Part 2 right there was $1,000. $1,000, no manual. I don't know how much it usually goes for. I really don't. But my goodness, I could not imagine paying $1,000 for a video game. How's it going, everyone? I am back from my trip from Tennessee. I picked up a lot of video games I'm going to show you guys. A lot of 16-bit games, and a few other things other than 16-bit games. I also picked up some controllers, but I also picked up some modern stuff. I actually picked up a couple modern games I'm going to go ahead and show you. And I'm going to show you these first, because I actually got these just from a GameStop in Tennessee. I didn't get these at like the game store I showed on camera. So here's what I got for the Nintendo Switch. I got Goodbye World for the Nintendo Switch. This is one I've been interested in for a while, and I actually got $5 off of the price as well. So I'm excited to check this one out. It's one that I've been wanting. I double-checked to make sure that it was actually a Japanese video game, and it actually is a Japanese video game. Because I'm always worried whenever I see the anime art style now, I'm always worried that it's just like, you know, maybe a Westerner that has copied the anime art style, because that unfortunately is a thing these days that happens quite often. And they just don't write as well as the Japanese writers. So I'm definitely happy that this is a actual Japanese video game. Also picked up this. This is My Fantastic Ranch, and it was really cheap for that one. This is one that I thought about picking up when it came out. I like these Animal Crossing style games, these building style games, so I went ahead and picked this one up, and for that price of like $8, couldn't go wrong with that, so I'm happy to have those two in the collection. Now, we'll go over a couple of the games that also are not 16-bit, and then we'll get into all the 16-bit stuff. So, next up, I picked up, this one had some label damage, but the price was a little bit cheaper because of it. You can see the labels really faded out, but I don't really care as long as it works. This is Little Nemo the Dream Master on the NES. This is one that I've been wanting. It was on my list, and I finally picked it up. And like I said, it has some label damage, but as long as it plays, that's what I care about. I also picked up this here. This was also on my list. This is Castlevania Adventure. This was the first Game Boy Castlevania game, and there's obviously other ways to play the Castlevania games these days, but I really prefer having the original, you know, like cartridge itself rather than one of the compilation discs or whatever. So I'm happy to have this. I'm excited to play through it and check it out. I've never beaten a Castlevania game before. I've played some, but I've never beaten them, so hopefully I can play through this one and actually finish that one. Alright, so that's the other stuff. Now from here on, it's basically almost all 16-bit except for one game. So let's go ahead and get into that stuff. So first, here's some Genesis games. I actually got some Sega Genesis games. Now, in past videos, I said that I really look for Sega Genesis games in the case. However, it's getting to the point where pretty much every game store I go to, a lot of the games that are in the cases are just like they're stupid sports titles. Like, you know, I like sports games, but I don't really like the old sports games. You know, I like the more like PS2 era sports games and stuff like that. So I'm not really interested in a Madden, from the Genesis era or anything like that, or any football game from the Genesis era. So I saw these though, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get them because they're games I want, even though they don't have a case. I'm going to stop worrying about the cases as much. And if I find a game in the case, great. If I don't, it is what it is. So I finally just went ahead and basically got these. So I got Judge Dredd, and this one is pretty cool. It looks like a shoot 'em up game, or not shoot 'em up, but like a shooter run and gun game. It looks like Contra, basically. You got Beauty and the Beast, and I think this is Roar of the Beast. Yeah, Roar of the Beast. I'm excited to check this one out. It looks pretty good as well. And Vector Man. I have heard a lot of good things about Vector Man. A lot of people who say that this is one of the best games on the Genesis, and I would definitely wanted to pick it up and play it. I've been looking for it for a while. I found one in a box not too long ago, but it was one of the cardboard boxes, and I really don't like collecting cardboard boxes. I like those clamshells more than I do the cardboard boxes for sure. I try to avoid any of the cardboard boxes if I'm being honest. All right. Next up is all the Super Nintendo stuff. So let's go ahead and get right into this. I'll go ahead and show this first because you guys know I love the Tiny Toon video games. And I saw Tiny Toon Buster Bust Loose down there, and I had to get it when I saw it. I love the Tiny Toon video games. I saw this one, and it looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited to check that one out. Next up, I have Final Fight. I love the Final Fight games. I actually think the Super Famicom version is the better version because I believe in this version they replaced Poison, but in the original one they have Poison. So this one technically isn't as authentic as the Super Famicom version, but it is what it is. I still wanted this copy of it, and eventually I will pick up the Super Famicom version of this game as well. And next up we have Roadrunner Death Valley Racing. And this is one that was kind of on my radar. It was on my list, but I wasn't sure if I was going to find it for a good price or not. And I figured for $10, it was worth a shot. So I went ahead and picked that one up. Next up is The Jungle Book. This is one that I definitely wanted to pick up. I really love The Jungle Book. It's actually one of my favorite Disney movies. And I have not played this game before, and I'm looking forward to playing it. Next up we have... Here is another Looney Tunes game. This one is Daffy Duck, The Martian Missions. Now, this one, or the Marvin Missions, excuse me. This one looks pretty cool, though. You're playing as Daffy Duck, and you have, like, a gun, and you're basically going around and you're shooting the Martians or whatever. And, yeah, it looks like it's a really cool little platforming game with some shooter elements. So I'm excited to check this one out. It looks like it's actually going to be a lot of fun. All right, what else we got here? Oh, here's another... Oh, we'll save that one. I want to save that one. What's this one? Okay, we'll use this one next. Here is Rise. This one is Rise of the Robots. This is a fighting game, and it's kind of weird because it has like pre-rendered graphics. So it looks a little bit like 3D almost the way it looks, but it's kind of interesting. It doesn't have great reviews because apparently this game was made more for its looks than it was its actual playability, which is not a good thing. But for $10, why not give it a shot, right? Here is another Looney Tunes game. I got a lot of Looney Tunes games. I got Tasmania. I looked this one up to see what the gameplay was like, and I was actually really surprised with how this game looked. It looks really, really good. So I went ahead and picked this one up, and it was pretty cheap price. I think this is the cheapest I've seen it for, was $8. So I went ahead and picked that one up, and looking forward to playing that and talking about it on the channel eventually. Next up, we also have... This is one that I'm pretty excited for because I used to have the toys for it. This is The Incredible Crash Dummies. So that is that game. It's made by LJN, which I know a lot of people aren't LJN fans, but I looked up gameplay of this and it actually looks like a lot of fun. Like, the Crash Dummies will lose their limbs and stuff, and they'll still be like running around and stuff. And that reminds me a lot of the toys, because the toys are the same way. You could take their limbs off and stuff like that. They would have like different features where sometimes their head would just pop up, sometimes they would actually fall apart. There was all sorts of different features that the toys had, and this game looks like a lot of fun, honestly. I already have the Game Boy game, so I just needed the Super Nintendo game, and I think that's all of the Crash Dummy games that there actually is now, so I'm happy to finally have all those. Here is another Disney game. This is Disney Aladdin. This one looks really good. The Aladdin games look really good, so pick this one up. Excited to try it out and see what this one is all about. I don't think I have played any Super Nintendo Disney games yet, so I'll be interested to see how they actually play. But from the looks of them, they look like they're a lot of fun, and a lot of people talk good about them. So here is another one. This one I picked up because it actually everyone was saying that it plays pretty easily. Like, this is a pretty easy game to play. So I went ahead and picked this one up. It's We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, which is, I believe, based off of a movie of the same name. I have not seen the movie, so I know nothing about it. But I'm always interested in an easier game, because a lot of Super Nintendo games, well, they're not easy. A lot of old school games in general are not easy. So when I hear about an easier game on there, I get interested in it, because sometimes I just want to relax and enjoy the gameplay of a relaxing game. So if this is easy, I figured why not go ahead and pick it up and try it. All right. Let's go ahead and show this one next. This is Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Now, I am not a Final Fantasy fan. That is why I'm so excited to play this game, because this game is not like your regular Final Fantasy games. This one is apparently dumbed down quite a bit, and that makes me excited to play it, because I've never really been a fan of Final Fantasy or its combat system, so I'm hoping that this one will be a lot better. I've seen some screenshots of how it looks, and I think it looks really cool. I like the graphics and everything, so I'm excited to check this one out, and hopefully I enjoy it more than I've enjoyed the other Final Fantasy games that I've played. Alright, we also have this game here. This is Star Trek: The Next Generation. This game looks terrible, if I'm being honest, but it's Star Trek. I'm a Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek. I grew up watching really mainly The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Those were my two favorites growing up. I watched the original one as well, but I always just preferred, Captain Picard and Sisko the most. So, Kirk's okay, but he's just not as cool as Picard or Sisko. So there's that one. It doesn't look great, but, like I said, it's Star Trek. And then next, these are all a bunch of superhero video games. I'm not a huge fan of superheroes these days, but the old superhero stuff, like stuff that I grew up with and stuff before my time, I do like. So let me go ahead and show you what I picked up there. So I picked up Batman Returns on the Super Nintendo. This is a beat-em-up style game. And I also picked up Batman Forever on the Super Nintendo. This one, Batman Forever, has terrible reviews. This one has great reviews. So we'll see how they are. But I'm excited to check them out. And you can see they were made by different people, even though they're both beat-em-ups. This one's Konami, this one's Acclaim. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to check both of them out. I mean, $8 for Batman Forever, even if it's not a good game, I feel like at that price, it's still worth trying out. Alright, and then I have a couple with label damage I'm going to show you next. This one has some label damage, and it has just it looks like someone marked price on the sticker and then ripped the sticker off. And yeah, it tore up the label. So this is Spawn, the video game. I really like Spawn. I think Spawn is an awesome character. I like the Spawn movie. I've liked the comics that I've read of Spawn. I really enjoy it. And I've played the PS2 game. The PS2 game is unfortunately not very good, but I'm hoping that this one is. This is a beat-em-up game. I'm looking forward to trying it out. I'm hopeful. I'm hoping that this game is going to be fun, because I really do want to play a good Spawn video game, and so far I have not found one. So hopefully that one will be good. This one also had label damage, but because it had so much label damage, it actually was $10 off. I looked up this game, and it usually goes for around $23, and I ended up getting this game for $12.99 instead. And that is Justice League Task Force. This game looks actually awesome. This is a fighting game where you play as the Justice League. And it actually looks really good, so I'm excited to check this one out also. And as you can see, the label is definitely torn up. This was the one that's probably the most torn up out of all of these. I usually like for that, where the actual name of the game is, I usually like for that to be intact, because that's the thing that matters the most to me for whenever I'm going through games and seeing them on the shelf or whatever. I can just pick them up easily. So the front of it doesn't matter too much to me, but the top of it is usually why I really like to be intact. And unfortunately, this one is not intact, but for it being $10 off, I was just I don't think I can pass it up for that. If I find a label upgrade later on, I'll do it if it's cheap enough. But just to have a good copy that plays, $12.99 just to try it out, I saved $10. I think it's worth it. And then last, and I don't know if it's least or not, I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say this is a good game. I've heard some people say that this is a bad game. This is The Incredible Hulk. It's another beat-em-up game. I really love beat-em-up games. I'm just not good at beat-em-up games, but I do love them. But this is The Incredible Hulk. I watched gameplay of it, and it looks really cool. There's some cool-looking levels in this. There's one where he's running around in this weird flesh area. It's really gross looking, but it looks really cool. I'm excited to check this game out. and see what it is all about as well. So there is that. That's all the Super Nintendo games. Now, there's still one more game to show you, but this is an N64 game. I did get one N64 game. There weren't actually a whole lot, but I got this. This is Aero Fighters Assault, and this is basically, from what I can tell, it looks very similar to Ace Combat. It looks like a lot of fun, and I'm excited to check it out. And I'm hoping that it's going to be pretty fun. But from what I've seen, it looks like it's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, this game, I believe, is also the game, though, that caused the company that made it to go out of business. So, we'll see. But it looks good. It actually does look good. So, I'm excited to at least check it out and try it out and see how it is. Now, everything else I got from here on is controller-related and stuff like that. And there'll be unboxings for some of the controllers later on. The only one that I may not do an unboxing for is this first one I'm going to show you. This is the Scout controller. It's a Super Nintendo controller by Hyperkin. I have shown one of these on the controllers. I've shown one of these controllers on the channel before because one of these actually came with my Retron 5, and I just wanted a second one, so I have two SNES controllers for my Retron 5 that are both, the same. This matches the system really well, and I just really wanted another one. I really like these Hyperkin controllers. Hyperkin, actually, they're my favorite controller company. I love Hyperkin. I even like the Retron 5 that I use constantly. It's a great system, and I have never had an issue with anything Hyperkin. So I really like it, and I like that this is like the Fun Tune Collector's Edition. And I would love for Hyperkin to make more colors. I would love them to do entire neon line. They have this blue color. They should definitely make like a yellow color with the pink buttons too. And then they should do a green one with the buttons like that. And then they could even do a pink one with either, the same pink buttons, or they could do a pink one and have this blue color be the color of the buttons instead. Like, just swap the colors around on this. And I think that'd be really cool. But I love these controllers. They're fantastic. $9.99 for it was a really good price. That's cheaper than you can get it online, so I'm very happy to have that. I don't know if I'll do an unboxing like that on that or not. These two I probably will, though. These are the same type of controllers, just different colors. So here's what I got. I got the Hyperkin Captain controller for the N64. As you can see, this is a N64 controller. It is based more on the actual N64 controller than what I usually like. I prefer a more standard controller. However, sometimes you do want a more authentic feel when you're playing N64 games. You want something that feels more like the original N64 experience, and that's why I picked this up. Because sometimes you want a more authentic experience, and sometimes, if you want to play split screen and you want that authentic experience, you're going to need two controllers. So, I got a gold one, and I got this green one here. So, I'm excited to check these out. And like I said, I'll probably do an unboxings for these on the channel. But they look pretty cool, honestly. The nice thing about these is that, yeah, while they're N64 controllers, they do one thing a lot better than the regular N64 controllers, and that's they replace those stupid thumbsticks that are really hard, and they replace them with good GameCube style thumbsticks. So that's a plus. I'm looking forward to checking those out, because the one I'm using right now, I'm using more a Hyperkin one, but I'm using the Admiral. I think it's called like the Fleet Admiral or something like that. And it uses the same style thumbstick, and it's fantastic. So I'm excited to see what these feel like on, these controllers. So we'll see. But thank you guys for watching. I got a lot of games. I don't do hunts this big that often, but, this was a fun vacation for me. I was just looking for a lot of video games. I was looking to have fun and just kind of splurge a little bit and have a good time, and I definitely had a good time, and I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this, and just thank you again for watching these videos, because these are probably this is probably the video series that does the best on my channel. Seems like a lot of people watch these and enjoy them, and I love making them for you guys. I make these videos. I was inspired to do these style videos because people like the Game Chasers, Radical Reggie, Metal Jesus Rocks, Pixel Dan, their style of vlogging while they're getting video games. I've always liked that stuff, and so they're the ones that inspired me to do this. So I really appreciate you guys watching them, and I hope that you guys go watch those other channels as well. And yeah, thank you guys for thank you for watching, but also thank the guys who inspired me to do this as well, because yeah, you guys make awesome content and you inspire other people to do that. So thank you, and I will talk to you in the next video. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching episode 10 of the game hunting series I'm doing. Episode 10 that was in Tennessee. I really enjoyed doing this for you guys. I enjoy making these videos. I know they're not perfect. I know there's audio issues with these videos. For some reason, it only wants to record my voice mono, and I'm still trying to figure out why it's doing that. I know that's annoying for some headphone users, but either way, I appreciate that you guys are still watching them and still enjoying them. And I'm still working on figuring everything out, but I really do appreciate you guys watching them regardless of the quality of them. So thank you so much. I'll talk to you next time.